Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Roadhouse from 1989. So yes, directed by Rowdy Herrington, and simply a film that I wanted to give a review here it's a film that I watched over a week ago now, and it's quite an iconic film. This and Patrick Swayze of course as well in the lead role here. So I wanted to check this out, and I'd never seen this film before. But yes, I wanted to give maybe a brief discussion, just a mention of this and my overall, kind of thoughts on this film and the experience I had with it. And yes, there will be spoilers in this because I have to, at least mention certain events that happen, especially later on in the film. But if you haven't seen this film, check it out first, and then we can. You can check this review out, and then we can maybe discuss the film. But yes, with that said, let's kind of discuss this film. This is such a unique experience, this one, and I've been watching a lot of kind of campy, maybe action films recently, or horror films, campy horrors, as well, very very recently, and just films that maybe aren't necessarily masterpieces, great films, or more, I don't know, kind of serious dramas. But I watch all kinds of films. But recently, I've not been in the best of moods, and I've wanted to kind of save particular films I've got, for maybe at better times, perhaps, maybe in just a week or so. But yes, I wanted to kind of sit back and relax and just watch a film that maybe is just a fun experience, and I do that fairly often at the moment. And this film it's described, has got a reputation that it's one of them so bad it's good kind of films. A lot of people say that about this film, and I've heard a few things about this, in general terms. I'd never really seen any clips from this film. I didn't know anything about the film other than who's in this film, and of course Patrick Swayze. I'm a fan of him, and I, of course, wanted to check out all of his films eventually. And he was just a very enjoyable actor, I feel. But yes, he's in this film as our basically, it's very strange. The plot of this film is it's one of the things that's so bizarre about this whole experience. But he is basically a caller, a legendary bouncer who gets this kind of job offer in Missouri, and to kind of act as a caller, overseeing this bar, which is very run down, and of course there is insane people about, and it's just kind of a very tough bar perhaps, and there's all these fights, and it's just out of control, and the owner of course wants James Dalton, who of course Patrick Swayze plays, to kind of come here and kind of accept this this role, and then the owner can kind of do this up, refurbish this, and it won't get automatically basically run down again, and so it can be kind of maintained, controlled, and he wants this character of James Dalton to kind of come here, and he's this legendary bouncer, our protagonist here, someone who he's got quite a reputation, which is very very bizarre. I mean, I've never come across a film with a plot like this. It really is. It reminds me of the film behind me, as well, in its tone and it's in the way that it just goes all out, at times, of course, and just a kind of one of these campy films that just really makes no sense whatsoever, and I don't really care about that in films, but there's films like this, but really they're going so far with the just nonsensical nature. This is just, it's completely nuts in the plot, and the script in general. Is really really insane, and there's some lines in this that are just really really something else. In one of the fight scenes, towards the end of the film, that kind of, well, Jimmy, of course, as we know that character there, James fights him, and the whole, all the dialogue there, it's just insane. Prepare to die, and of course, some of the lines midway through that fight, had me, in hysterics. Why did these characters say these things? But it just adds to the kind of enjoyability of this, and of course, you know, we get kind of hints as well, you know, early on that this character of James Dalton, once before, you know, it's rumoured that he kind of ripped a man's throat out with his bare hands, and you know, I was kind of in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know, that won't happen in this film. I've never really seen that in any film. Really, there's been a few things, you know, in that vein, but very rarely do we see, you know, a man's throat ripped out, you know, maybe in that way. And I was kind of thinking, would they do that later on in the film? And would you believe it? You know, in that fight scene with Jimmy, you know, that fight scene there towards the end of the film, yes, actually he does get killed by James Dalton, ripping his throat out with his bare hands. And just an insane film. You know, I could leave it there, but you know, we'll go into more of this. You know, the first, you know, 40 minutes, also 45 minutes. I think it was a very, very good film, despite the flaws. You know, the script, you know, I think it's just really, really, you know, at times it's not too great. I think, you know, one of the, I think for me personally, you know, bad elements of this at times the script and maybe some of the acting, but really mostly I think this film is actually, you know, pretty decent, you know, at least, and it's really the script and just some of the tonal shifts and the overall, you know, idea of this that really, you know, is definitely very, very flawed overall. But you know, the performances were very enjoyable. You know, Sam Elliott plays Wade Garrett, you know, and he's this another legendary bouncer, would you believe, that kind of comes into it, and you know, kind of he's kind of acts as a, you know, he's a very spiritual character. You know, it's very strange what happens in this film, but yes, he's kind of a mentor to James, and you know, he's also, yes, this bouncer, this legendary kind of basically what Patrick Swayze's character is, but you know, not quite maybe as kind of you know. I wouldn't say he's not as kind of balanced in that sense. You know, maybe in the past he was more of this, and he's maybe yes, not as in shape perhaps, you know, as maybe James Dalton is. And yeah, it's very interesting when he comes into the film, you know, past friends, and I love the kind of scene in which, you know, he's introduced, very, very over the top and just very, very warm and charming. This film, really, it can be said for the whole film, really, it's very, very charming experience, you know, one that really doesn't, it doesn't need to make sense. No film does really, but you know, there's one a film like this, as I say, that really just is absolutely, you know, insane, and it's just, it's something, you know, the fact that this, the whole setup, of course, you know, in this first act, I really, really liked. You know, I love different moments. Actually, I think it was great to see, you know, the kind of the way in which, you know, this character of James Dalton is in a very heavy-handed way, perhaps, very, very calm and collected. You know, really, really calm about what's going on here. And I just loved all the dialogue here, you know, and the way he was kind of teaching the different, you know, people there. You know, it's very strange as well. You know, many, many different members of this kind of bar here, and yeah, it's just seeing all these members, you know, kind of getting mentored by James, and of course giving the different rules, which make no sense really either. But yeah, it's just seeing this. It's just such a bizarre kind of experience. But the first act, I think, you know, is really, really good. Going into the kind of 45-minute mark. After that, it becomes, you know, there's some flat moments. I think the romance in this film, you know, Kelly Lynch plays this doctor, basically, Elizabeth, I think her name was, and she basically, you know, patches James up at one point in the film, and then of course, you know, automatically a romance kind of sparks from this. It's got some really, really full-on, you know, kind of scenes involving the romance in this film. You know, I was just kind of, it's very bizarre, but yes, you know, she's in the film, and I think the romance in this film is not good, in my opinion, but it, you know, it has some enjoyable moments, but really, yeah, it's not too good. It's not something I can get, you know, actually at all invested in, and it just is it's too much at times, you know, and it's definitely focused on a bit too much as well, and it kind of takes away from the kind of, you know, the focus that I found in the first 45 minutes, but again, it does kind of pick up again in the kind of final act, and you've got some hilarious moments, some really great fight scenes, you know, in different ways, maybe not great in some areas, some, you know, kind of ways of looking at a film, but really, it is highly enjoyable, and that kind of fight scene there, you know, with Jimmy, it's one of the best, among my favourite kind of fist fights, in cinema actually. Just absolutely insane, and just the way, the dialogue exchanges there, it's absolutely insane. Prepared to die, and this whole kind of the way in which this is done, is just hilarious. It really, really is, and I think yes, the way in which the final act ensues, it's definitely quite enjoyable, and it's got, of course, yes, our main kind of villain of the film, Brad Wesley, played by Ben Gazzara. He is basically this businessman. He's of course very corrupt. He has all these different kind of henchmen, and yes, basically he kind of owns. He has like a stranglehold over this very, very, we must note, very small town with very little in the way of property and ways in which he maybe acquired this wealth. We never know really, but yeah, we're expected to kind of just go along with this, and it is kind of a campy action film. So of course, the plot in this sense, and the different characters here, and the actual, all these different moments. I don't think it matters. It just kind of adds to the insane enjoyability of this film. But yes, it's just absolutely insane to see that this character acquired so much, from overseeing this very, very small town. Of course, he happens to be, basically, well, in effect, a neighbour to James Dalton, because of course his, the character of James Dalton, Patrick Swayze's character, has to go and basically rent a room, and it's on this ranch, and it's very, very close to yes, our villain's property, and that scene there as well when he arrives, Dalton, to meet that elderly fellow there, and of course the one that's renting out the room to him, that is bizarre as well. It kind of seemed like a scene where it's like a homecoming scene, and that's his father perhaps, but definitely not. I was thinking that is this someone that he knows, but no, it's just a random guy that happens to rent out a room on a ranch, and it's just an insane kind of setup. But I loved different moments in this. Definitely one that is very, very over the top, of course. One that doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter at all. This is just a very enjoyable film overall. I think it does sag in the middle, and there's some moments in this that really I can't ignore that they are very, very flawed. I think the script is just at times not good at all, but it is an enjoyable script in the way it's so basic and so kind of on the nose, and just trying to maybe make this kind of a spiritual experience, playing off of different martial arts films even, in the way they kind of mix over the top campy, outlandish moments with philosophy and just spiritual kind of elements, and kind of in this film though it really comes across as just really, really bizarre. And I think just the fact that Sam Elliott's character, Wade Garrett, what a great name that is as well. But yes, Wade Garrett, his kind of relationship with James Dalton, and as well when that kind of scene in the different place there when they're kind of dancing as well. It's all really, really strange, but just highly enjoyable, this film. And I think it's a good film overall. I think it's pushing on very good, but the script is the main thing, and of course different moments in the middle that bring this film down from being maybe called a very good action film from me. I think in terms of its action, it's very well choreographed. It's got some real kinetic moments, and it's some great moments of action. But as a film, there is, also drama involved, and there's this kind of this crime plot, of course, and this whole kind of this corruption tale. It's definitely just completely insane. I think the script, yes, at times, the line delivery and stuff from different characters as well, side characters perhaps. Definitely, I can't deny that this is definitely a very, very flawed film. But having said that, I think it's definitely very close to the kind of 80% mark actually, and I think my enjoyment of the film is a bit higher than that anyway. I think it's a film at times that I loved, other times not so much. And overall, I really, really liked this film, and I think it's a good film and very close to a very good kind of status in terms of the the quality perhaps of this film. But yes, I would recommend this to anyone who likes action films, who likes campy, outlandish films that are charming, make maybe no sense at all, but something that you can just kind of go along with and just kind of have a good time with, laugh along with. And yes, it has got some memorable characters, no doubt. The exposition for these characters is questionable, but I think the characters themselves, the way they the dynamics, of course, and the performances as well. Sam Elliott, Patrick Swayze, and Ben Gazzara, they all kind of have a good time with this. And I think Kelly Lynch, maybe it's not so great in this film. I think the romance just, it's not good. Although I did have a fun time with it at times. It's definitely has its enjoyable moments, but it's not good. So as a film, it's good. It's very close to being very good because it has got some great moments in there and stuff. And I think just a very charming film. But my final rating for this is a 79%, very close, as I say, to the kind of 80% mark, but not quite there. But my enjoyment of the film is higher than that. It's higher than the 80% mark. It's definitely a bit higher than that. But yes, it's a very strange film. Some things just do not make sense. In fact, most of the film, it's just it really is just a bizarre experience that is just so so insane. The whole plot of this is just mental, really. But that's one of the things I like about the film. Just the kind of the way in which this is set up, and it somehow works. As an entertaining film. While every single thing at times just really mental. What's going on here? The fact the fact alone, the plot alone is just something that's just really I'll never really understand why this was the plot of the film. But it does work as a piece of entertainment, and I think Patrick Swayze gives a very good performance. I think he's an underrated actor, and I think Sam Elliott, very enjoyable here, and yes, just these characters together, and yes, the different moments of action, comedy action, at times it's hilarious. The fight scene, of course, when James Dalton rips that guy's throat out, Jimmy's throat out, just the whole kind of fight there is just really mental, and the reaction as well from Elizabeth afterwards, really just so insane. But yes, Roadhouse is a unique film that I really praise. I think it's a really solid film. I think it's very close to being a very good film. If the middle had been as good as the first 45 minutes and kind of the final act, I think yes, it would have been very good from me. But regardless, my enjoyment levels are definitely higher than what I give this film. Already a good solid score what I give the film. But yes, that's what the film is. It's a very I find enjoyable. Insane experience of an action film, of a romance, a comedy, and just yes, kind of crime thriller perhaps. But the whole kind of way in which our villain is portrayed, and the whole kind of all these different moments and stuff, and the backstory here, and how he became this businessman, and everything involved in that. It really, it's absolutely mental. That's what this film is. But yes, very insane, very bizarre, strange experience, but very enjoyable. And yes, I had a great time with this. At different moments and the kind of first act, and overall, I really enjoyed this. It's the one that can kind of make you, it can uplift you. It can kind of just cheer you up perhaps, and very charming film. So yes, I would recommend this film to anyone really. And if you have seen this film, I know not everyone's seen this, of course. It has got kind of more of a cult status than anything. Really, it's not critically acclaimed. It's not really talks about too much as maybe good action films perhaps. Really. But yes, if you have seen this film, let me know and tell me what you think of it. It'd be great to kind of find out, and just in general, let's discuss this film and different action films perhaps, and yes, just cinema as always. So yes, I wanted to kind of give a brief maybe review of this film, discussion, and yes, tell me your thoughts. What do you think of this film? And yes, anything you want to ask about cinema, of course, always welcomed. And yes, I look forward to doing more reviews again soon. It's been there's been a few gaps here and there. I've not been uploading too much recently. In fact, this is actually the first time in over a week that I've actually filmed a review. Today is Monday, so yeah, it's been not a great time in terms of my mood. But this is a film I wanted to talk about, and I'll be back very, very soon. I think I'll be ready again to give more very more consistent reviews in terms of my upload pace perhaps. But yes, I've got some Monty Python content coming very soon as well, and so I can't wait. And Bond reviews, maybe a bit more of time to wait for that, but they will come once again. So yes, tell me your thoughts on this film, and as always, take care, and yes, thanks for watching.